So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm really excited to hang out with you and talk about something that I am super passionate about, being a doula. I'm Carolyn Trenter, the founder of Doula Beginnings and a Donor International Certified Birth and Postpartum Doula. I'm also an international doula trainer based here in Melbourne, Australia, and I've had the privilege of serving as the Donor International Director of Global Development, supporting doulas outside of the US. Over the past 18 years, I've had the joy of training aspiring doulas and helping them on their journey to donor certification through workshops both in person and online. So whether you're just curious about what doulas do or you're ready to jump in and start training, this webinar will give you a brief overview of what a doula is, why doulas matter more than ever, and some practical answers to common questions. Please feel free to type any questions that you have in the chat, and I'll make sure to save plenty of time at the end to answer as many questions as possible. All right, so let's kick this off with the big question. Technology and I do not go well together. Is there really a need for doulas? And the short answer is absolutely. Let me tell you why. Pregnancy, birth, and those first few days with a new baby are some of the most incredible moments in a family's life, but they can also be pretty challenging and overwhelming. Here in Australia and around the world, the demand for skilled doulas is on the rise. Doulas don't just support mums physically during birth. They boost emotional well-being and help create strong bonds right from the start. And their work isn't limited to labour and birth. These days, doulas also provide postpartum care, guiding new parents through breastfeeding, newborn basics, and the huge emotional adjustment that comes with becoming a family. There are even doulas who specialise in bereavement support, high-risk pregnancies, and caring for families with specific cultural or medical needs. More and more, hospitals, midwives, and families recognise how vital these compassionate professionals are to safe, personalised care. Today's families face a complex healthcare system, increasing medical interventions like caesarean sections and significant disparities in maternal outcomes, depending on where you live and your background. This is where doulas truly make a difference. Decades of research show that having continuous doula support during labour leads to better outcomes for everyone involved. So let's dig into some facts. Research clearly shows that having a birth doula makes a real difference for mum and babies. For example, a landmark Cochrane review in 2017 looked at more than 20 studies involving around 15,000 families worldwide. It found that continuous support from a doula during labour led to better birth outcomes, like fewer interventions, including inductions and epidurals. And more recently, a 2023 study by Sobjack confirmed these benefits, reinforcing that doula care helps improve birth experiences globally. Having continuous doula support has been shown to reduce caesarean birth rates by about 25%, helping more families experience a natural, positive birth whenever possible. Continuous doula support's been shown to shorten the duration of labour, helping mums progress more smoothly and get through birth more comfortably. Providing that continuous support, doulas have been shown to increase the mother's overall satisfaction with their birth experience, making it a more positive and empowering experience. Research also shows that doula support doesn't just benefit mum, it also boosts babies' health. Babies born with doula care tend to have lower rates of prematurity and higher APGAR scores, meaning they're healthier right from those crucial first minutes after birth. The Centres for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, reports that birthing with doula support increases breastfeeding initiation and duration rates And of course, breastfeeding is linked to numerous infant health benefits, including reduced infections and allergies. Birth and postpartum doulas play an essential role in supporting new parents' mental health. Research published in the Journal of Perinatal Education reports that postpartum doula care lowers postpartum depression rates by providing emotional support and practical assistance during this vulnerable time. And another crucial role that doulas play is advocacy. They help communicate a parent's wishes to healthcare providers and ensure that they feel respected and informed during an often overwhelming process. You might be wondering why I'm going to talk about cost effectiveness here. Research shows that doula care can actually reduce the need for medical interventions like caesarean sections, as I mentioned, which helps lower healthcare costs overall. So for healthcare providers, for insurers and families alike, investing in doulas is a smart, cost-effective way to support better birth and postpartum outcomes. Beyond that, doulas play a vital role in supporting parents during and after birth, laying the groundwork for a long-term child development and family well-being. The positive ripple effect stretch far, from healthier starts to stronger bonds between parents and babies. Now I'd like to introduce you to Rachel, who had a doula for the birth of her second child, and she's kindly agreed to share her experience with us tonight. So thank you so much for joining us, Rachel.
That's all right, Carolyn. It's really nice to be involved.
Cool.
Um, I hired Carolyn for my second birth, which was an attempted VBAC, which means a vaginal birth after cesarean. And I really wanted to have more support compared to my first birth, which was through a private obstetrician. And it was really nice having Carolyn there. I had a lot of support beforehand. We had a lot of chats about sort of fear behind having a repeat cesarean and what that would mean and sort of working through that fear. She gave me a bit of education on birth, which was something I never got with my private obstetrician. Um, I think you came at like 5 a.m. in the morning, some ungodly hour, um, which was really useful because we had a toddler and you were with me and stayed with me so my husband could take our second child to the in-laws. And I don't know what I would have done like by myself. Like it was really hard getting it was probably like the first proper labor I had compared to my first. Um, I remember you watched me going through contractions at the start, and I was sort of yelling out quite a bit and carrying on a little bit. And you said to me, "How about you just give your husband a cuddle and just breathe through it?" And I remember thinking, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then I thought, well, I've hired you for a reason, so maybe I'll give it a shot. And it really worked. And so I used breathing for the 20 something hours that it went for, and it was fantastic. You stayed, I ended up having a repeat cesarean, but you stayed while I was in theatre, and you were like the first person I saw when they wheeled me out, which was so nice because I felt like we'd gone on this journey together, and then I kind of got carted off to theatre, and then you were there when we came out, and you got to see my daughter, and it was just a friendly, familiar face that just made me feel calm. I had a quick chat to my husband before and I said, "Oh, what did you get out of a doula?" Because I think that's another question. Like, I think husbands and partners worry that you're going to take their role, but he remembers you feeding him over my shoulder because he was doing a lot of the physical work and you were sort of in the background making sure he drank, making sure I drank, and just, taking care of us while we went through this together. He was also very impressed that you stayed for so long because it was well, a morning into a night, kind of into another morning. So, I mean, the stamina that you have was amazing. And then there were times where I think, Luke was getting the car ready. And I remember talking to you about, I remember saying, I can't get into the car. Like, I can't do that. Like, that's impossible. How am I supposed to get into the car in labor and get to the hospital? And you just gave me this really awesome pep talk just to get, and I got in and I lived. Um, and then it was so lovely to see you afterwards. You came and visited me after I had her and checked in on me. And it was so nice to catch up because we'd sort of had so many chats beforehand, been through this big thing together. And then it was like this big circle of care. And I can see why continuity of care is so important. And it's just so like it's such a massive thing to go through. And there's so much birth trauma that people experience. And I think having a doula, I don't know what the stats are, but it has to reduce it.
Mm, yeah,
Has to.
yeah,
And I can see how, because you've got this person that's just there. Like you don't even have to do anything or say anything. You just have to be there. And it's just, we had the backup plan if any time someone came in and said, "Oh, this has to be done and this has to be done," you would say to me, "Let's have a think about it," and you would let us have some space and time to think about it. And you weren't interested in pushing any agenda. It was just, what do you guys want? And helping us achieve as close to that as we could.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Were there any surprises with the benefits that you didn't expect?
I think I think being really pleased to see you after I had her, and then when you came and visited me a day or two later, I thought I'd sort of just put you in the box of you're a healthcare worker, you know. But like, midwives would come in and out, and then you would come in to visit, and I'd be like, "Oh, yay, Carolyn's here." It was really nice. It's like having, a friend or an aunt or a mum or, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Rachel, and your comment about um, you know, feeling like you've got a family member or somebody visiting
Mm.
um, brings joy to my heart because I often describe doulas as a bit like aunties, but aunties with a knowledge base.
Yes.
And I believe that doulas are the biggest part of what we do is relationship building. It's building that relationship so that we can know what our clients want. We can help them to achieve the best outcome that they can. And I have to say too that you inspired me through your labor with with your strength and commitment to what you wanted, but realistic commitment too. So
Or
yeah.
stubbornness.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, would anyone else like to share any, if you know of somebody that has worked with a doula, or if you've got any personal experience with doula care?
Yes, I would, if that's okay.
It's cool, Lisa. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and what an amazing story, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I employed a doula. Um, I can't even remember why, but I think it was largely because neither of us had any idea what we were about to go through, and I learned about the difference between a willing woman versus a just get me through this, however I need to get through. And so I wanted to very much be, for the health of my baby and for my own health, wanted it to be as natural as possible. And so we had a doula, and similar, Rachel, to you, I went into labour at 5 p.m. on the Monday, and my doula came at 6 a.m. on the Tuesday, and I didn't give birth until 6:30 a.m. on the Wednesday. But in that time there was lots of different things that were happening. We were mostly at home, but then I think it was about 2 a.m. on the Wednesday, and I started bleeding, and started panicking. And she said, "No, you're fine. Let's go to the hospital, and we'll take it from there." We get there, and they do their internal whatever they do to check how dilated I was, and they discovered that my daughter was, is it posterior, spine on spine?
Mhm.
And so that I think that's when we discovered that. And so she had me, my doula, she copped a bit of language from me because she had me climbing stairs with a minute apart contractions to try and turn the baby. And so every step was another swear word, but I knew that she knew what she was doing, so I was doing that. If my partner had have asked me to climb stairs at that point in time, I would have told him where to go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I knew she knew what I needed to do, and so I trusted her. Then it was a water birth, and so when we got into the suite and had the water was in the bath, and I got in the bath, and I was in there for probably 2 hours, and they're like, "No, this is not moving fast enough. You got to get out." And so I got out. They were changing the water, and I think the doctors were thinking at that point in time they were going to do a cesarean. And I think I also had 6 or so student midwives in there as well. Went to the toilet, and as I had a contraction on the toilet, where one of the midwives like, "Head, I can see head," and so like, "All right, get back in the bath." Get in the bath. They've got hoses and everything going in, trying to get this bath full. Lisa, you cannot give birth until this water is full enough. And so I'm having to literally breathe through the contractions that I just wanted to push. And the whole time Sarah was there, my doula was there, and she was phenomenal. Darren, my partner, had not much idea. I had not much idea of what was happening, but she just was like, "No, we're doing this, we're doing that." And, she was like, very much advocating for not to have to do a Caesar, which we didn't want if we didn't have to. And so, yeah, that then within probably 3 natural, because I didn't push myself, but natural, what are they called? Contractions, she was out. And it was the most magical experience. And, it was only for the fact that I had a doula that it was a wonderful experience. And then, I think the breastfeeding part was almost harder than the birthing, the labour, but she was there for that also. And I breastfed for two years for my first, and 2.5 years for my second, and both times it was almost exactly the same. So yeah, so I cannot advocate enough for the doula. Having an expert so your partner can be relaxed and enjoy it. Otherwise it's all on him, and that's one thing we didn't want. We just wanted both of us to be able to be complete novices at this and just enjoy the process. And having a doula there meant that we could.
Yeah. And Rachel, you mentioned trauma. The partners can find it traumatic too.
Yes.
So yeah, having that person that's keeping an eye on both of you
Yeah.
um, is a huge benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I want to take some time to look at some of the common questions that I hear from aspiring doulas. One of the big questions that I hear is, can you really make a living as a doula? The short answer is yes, but it does take some strategic planning. This is a totally valid concern, and I want to be upfront with you. Your income will depend on things like where you're based, the variety of services that you offer beyond birth support, like postpartum care or childbirth education, how you market yourself. Don't be the best kept secret in town. and how much time you're willing or able to dedicate to working with clients. In Australia, typical birth doula fees can vary quite a bit, usually somewhere between $1,000 up to even $3,000 or $4,000 per birth, which typically includes prenatal and postpartum visits, as well as the labour and birth. And postpartum doula work is generally charged hourly, around $30 to $50, again, depending on your location. Offering packages, say 2 or 3 hour packages for postpartum care, can provide more value to your clients while also ensuring a steady income for yourself. Many doulas work part-time while balancing family or other careers, while others establish full-time practices. It's also important to think about your personal goals. Are you looking for a flexible side income? Or do you want to build a full career around supporting families through birth and early parenting? Either option can be valid and fulfilling. Many doulas develop creative business models that work for their lifestyles. For example, most will offer packages that combine the prenatal visits, the birth support, and the postpartum care as a birth doula, as well as postpartum packages ranging from being on call for an hourly rate. Some will have a minimum of, for example, 2 hours. Some packages may be 3 hours where they come once a week, or 3 hours and they come 5 days a week. As previously mentioned, there are also specialty doula roles that some offer, such as prenatal care packages for someone who's on bed rest during their pregnancy, while others provide complementary services, facilitating parent support groups, offering educational workshops, digital content, private breastfeeding support, placenta encapsulation or art, baby or pregnancy castings or photography are perfect examples of complementary services that can increase your income. I will say here, though, that these complementary services are not under your doula role. As a doula, we have a very clear scope of practice. Anything else we do is part of our doula or birth business, but it is not, doesn't come under the scope of practice. So, for example, I offer baby hand and foot casting and belly casting, but that's not me, the doula. That's me from my doula beginnings business. What really helps is getting clear on your unique strengths and niche, along with ongoing marketing and networking to build steady client referrals. Doula income isn't usually an overnight success story. It grows from building trust, word of mouth, and expanding your community connections. I encourage anyone considering being a doula to think about their own financial goals honestly and think of your doula business as a flexible profession with many pathways. We certainly explore some practical ways to set yourself up for success during the workshops that I run. Another very common concern is the on-call nature of doula work. Births can happen anytime, and as both Rachel and Lisa said, more often than not, you're going to get called out in the middle of the night. The idea that you might have to be on call all the time, ready to drop everything at any hour, can feel really daunting at first. But the good news is, while being a doula does involve flexibility, it doesn't have to mean sacrificing your personal life or feeling constantly on call. Birth is unpredictable, yes, but there are key strategies that doulas use to manage on-call time and keep healthy boundaries. First, many doulas set clear on-call schedules for when clients can contact them outside the time that they're in labour. So it may be a block of time during each day or specific nights that they can phone, or it may be that they say, Only phone me when you're in labour. Email me if you've got questions. So clients know when they can count on you and when you're not available. This helps you protect your downtime and your family commitments. Another popular approach is working as part of a doula partnership or team. In a partnership, you take turns being on call and cover each other during those times that you have something on. For example, your child's birthday celebration. As part of a team, you share clients. When one doula is on call, others aren't. But they do back each other up if more than one client goes into labour at the same time. This teamwork model can make the on-call demands much more manageable, reduce burnout, and increase the support that you provide to your families. It's also essential to be intentional about self-care and boundaries. Saying no or asking for help isn't just okay, it's necessary for sustainable work. Being vigilant about documenting appointments and due dates helps avoid surprises. So looking at the example on the screen, when I finish a contract, when I am completing a contract with a client, I always let them know if there's a baby due during the time that I'll be working with them. So if this is for a postpartum client. It's really important that we maintain open communication with our clients. I explain that if I get called away for a birth and I can't make our appointment, I'll reschedule it as soon as possible. Since they've just gone through labour and birth themselves, they completely understand how unpredictable birth can be. Honestly, I have never had a single complaint about missing an appointment for a birth. Remember, the key is finding a balance where you can be fully present for your clients while also having a rich personal life, time for family, hobbies, rest, and your own emotional recharge. If you're worried about managing all of this, you're definitely not alone. First, how do you find clients is a question that all doulas have, whether you've just starting out or you've been working for a while as a doula. Word of mouth is one of the most powerful and trusted ways that doulas attract new clients. When satisfied clients share their positive birth support experiences with friends, family, and community members, it creates authentic, personal recommendations that carry tremendous weight. Prospective clients often trust these first-hand accounts more than advertising or online profiles. Providing compassionate, professional, and reliable support encourages clients to happily refer you to others. Encouraging testimonials or reviews and social media shares extends your reach even further. Building relationships not only with clients, but also with healthcare providers and community groups amplifies your referral network. By nurturing these positive relationships and consistently delivering excellent care, doulas create a ripple effect of trust and goodwill that steadily generates new client inquiries and solidifies their reputation. Community involvement is another powerful tool. Joining local parenting groups or classes or community health organisations helps you to meet potential clients and spread the word about what you do or what doulas do. Community involvement allows doulas to demonstrate their expertise and passion while gaining first-hand an understanding of what local families need. It creates opportunities for informal conversations that can evolve into client relationships. Being an active presence in your community also fosters goodwill and positive recognition, which leads to authentic referrals. Being visible and approachable matters. Social media works well. Sharing useful tips, heartfelt stories, or even live streaming question and answer sessions can engage your audience and grow your network organically. Don't underestimate the power of a fresh professional online presence. A simple website that says who you are, what you do, and how to contact you can make a huge difference. Joining doula organisations offers networking opportunities, training resources, and visibility through directories where families search for certified doulas. Certification with Donor International allows you to be listed in their Find a Doula directory, which again increases visibility and professionalism. Collaborating with healthcare professionals, childbirth educators, community organisations, and complementary service providers is another way doulas can grow their client base. When you establish genuine partnerships, whether it's with midwives, lactation consultants, a prenatal yoga instructor, or some parent groups, you build trust and credibility by association. These collaborators become ambassadors who can recommend your doula services to families seeking support. Collaborations also create opportunities to participate in workshops and community events where expectant parents gather, giving you direct access to your ideal clients. And co-hosting events or providing educational sessions together deepens the relationships and enhances your visibility. Through ongoing collaboration, doulas position themselves as integral parts of the local maternity care service. This not only fosters valuable referrals, but also helps to develop a supportive professional network that sustains the doula's career growth. Running educational workshops is a powerful way to showcase your expertise, as well as building trust and connecting directly with expectant families. Obviously, we want doulas to present workshops on topics that they are qualified to educate on. So workshops on childbirth preparation, breastfeeding, newborn care, or postpartum wellbeing provide valuable knowledge that families actively seek. And by facilitating these sessions, you position yourself as a knowledgeable, supportive resource, which naturally then leads participants to consider hiring you as a doula. Workshops can create opportunities for meaningful interpersonal relationships where you can answer questions, address concerns, and build rapport in a relaxed group setting. This personal connection, and this may be done through a mother's group, a parenting group, which can be an informal coffee group. This personal connection fosters confidence and familiarity, making families more comfortable reaching out for your services. Through networking, doulas gain access to a supportive community that shares information, resources, and client leads, and relationships formed this way often lead to word of mouth recommendations, which, as mentioned, are among the most effective ways to attract clients. Through one of the networks I belong to, I had a doula reach out to me to ask if I would work as a backup doula for her. So it's a great way to find support and to give support. Consistent, genuine networking fosters a reputation of professionalism and helpfulness, positioning you as the go-to doula in your area. It also provides ongoing learning and emotional support, helping you sustain and grow your practice. Paid advertising, such as Google Ads and social media promotions, offer doulas a targeted way to reach expectant parents actively searching for birth support or postpartum support. It's not for everybody. Paid ads complement organic marketing efforts and can drive prompt inquiries when budgets are managed thoughtfully. This approach can be helpful for new doulas looking to build initial awareness or expand their client base beyond existing networks. And joining a doula agency can provide instant access to a steady stream of potential clients through the agency's established networks and referral system. Agencies often handle client matching, scheduling, and administrative tasks, allowing doulas to focus primarily on care provision. This can be especially helpful for new doulas building experience or anyone looking to reduce the marketing and business management workload. Partnering with a reputable agency also enhances your credibility and connects you with a supportive professional community. And finally, be patient and consistent. Client relationships often build slowly, so focusing on nurturing connections rather than quick results will pay off. Let's be honest, talking about money can feel really awkward. A lot of doulas tell me that they struggle with this part, especially when they're starting out. But having clear, confident conversations about fees is absolutely essential for a healthy professional doula business. First off, it's important to remind yourself that your time, skills, training, and emotional support have real value. When you communicate your fees clearly, you're showing clients that you take your work seriously and that they can trust you to provide quality care. Being upfront and letting your clients know your fees sets clear expectations and avoids those uncomfortable moments later on. If you're worried about clients feeling unable to pay, you can offer flexible payment plans or sliding scale fees that work best for both of you. Sometimes explaining the value behind the service, like emotional support, continuous presence, and advocacy, helps clients understand what they're investing in. Remember, this is a professional service. You're not just helping out. You're providing expert care that families rely on. During my workshops, I share lots of tips to make these conversations feel more natural and less stressful, because I was one of the ones that hated talking about money. Starting out feeling unsure is common. Even seasoned doulas sometimes have doubts. Feeling unsure or lacking confidence before stepping into a new role like doula work is totally normal. And honestly, it's something everyone experiences to some degree. The great news is confidence grows with experience and the right support. My training program and ongoing support is designed to build your knowledge and skills step by step. When starting out in any new role, nobody expects you to know everything right away. Instead, you learn through a mix of theory, hands-on practice, mentorship, and peer support. It's important to remember that being a doula isn't about having all the answers. It's about being present, listening deeply, and providing emotional and physical support. Your willingness to learn and grow is more valuable than perfection. Every experienced doula started somewhere, often feeling self-doubt at first. And again, that was me. Confidence comes when you reflect on your experience and see how you've grown one birth at a time or one client at a time. Another concern that I often hear is, I haven't had children myself. Can I still do this work effectively? This is such an important question, and I want to be really clear. You absolutely can. Being a doula is about so much more than personal parenting experience. In fact, our personal experiences in birthing or parenting choices have nothing to do with our role as a doula. It's about learning professional skills like actively listening, offering emotional and physical support, respecting each family's choice, and advocating effectively. These are skills you can learn and master regardless of whether you've experienced childbirth or parenting firsthand. Many successful doulas have built meaningful careers without having children of their own. Their empathy, professionalism, dedication, and training are what makes them so effective. Doulas serve families from diverse backgrounds and experiences, including those who themselves haven't been parents yet. Sometimes, especially in specialty roles like bereavement doulas or birth educators, the skills and perspective you bring can be uniquely valuable. If you're feeling unsure about this, It can help to step into training programs that offer both comprehensive education and mentorship, where you'll gain hands-on experience and guidance. Okay, now it's your turn. Do you have any questions about something that we've talked about or anything that you'd like to share? Lisa.
Thank you. Yes, that was excellent. Thank you, Carolyn. That was very informative. And I just wanted to add to that my experience with my doula. It never even crossed my mind to ask or if it was relevant to that she had children or not. And she didn't have children. But I was paying her or utilizing her service for her knowledge of the system, for her knowledge of the birthing process, and so yeah, I totally agree that there's no need for someone to be a mum or a parent to be a doula. I think it's that's not the knowledge we're looking for. It's the knowledge of the system and the process. So thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's a really valuable comment.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a moment to recap on what we've covered today. We started with the big question of whether doulas are really needed, and the answer is a strong, resounding yes. Families today benefit tremendously from the compassionate, continuous support doulas provide, not only during birth, but also postpartum and in many specialised areas. We also talked through some of the most common questions that many people have before deciding to become doulas. Questions about earning a sustainable income, managing on-call hours without sacrificing personal life, how to find clients, handling money conversations, building confidence, and even questions about whether you need to have children yourself. Every one of those questions is important, but also manageable with the right mindset, strategies, and support. This work is flexible and can be tailored to your unique goals and life circumstances. So, what's next? I'll be sending you your free gifts tomorrow: Mastering Marketing for Doulas, a reflective workbook, and the Preparing for Doula training booklet, as well as the recording of this webinar. Make sure to keep an eye on your inbox. I want to thank you all so much for being here today. It's been an absolute joy connecting with you all. And before we wrap up, I have a few really exciting announcements that I'd love to share. First, for those of you local to Queensland or who feel like a trip to Queensland, a next in-person workshop will be in Brisbane this month. It's a fantastic way to immerse yourself in hands-on learning and build community face-to-face. So if you're ready to take the next step, I'd love to see you there. If virtual works better for you, our next online workshop is coming up in November. You'll get the same great content and interactive experience from the comfort of your own home. And as a special offer, and thank you for spending this time with me tonight, if anyone signs up and pays for the Brisbane workshop by the 17th, you'll also get the virtual workshop for free as a refresher. I'm really excited to also share a couple of things I've been working on for a while. Starting January 1st, I'm launching a brand new training program that includes Donor International certification as part of the package. This upgrade means even more value, structure, and support for you over a 12-month period as you start your doula career. And just to be transparent, because there's more, prices will go up to reflect that expanding offer. So if you've been considering joining us, now is the perfect time to lock in the current pricing. Plus, I'm thrilled to share a project close to my heart. We're working on building a doula agency to launch hopefully in the next year. This will open up even more opportunities for mentorship, support, and referrals, helping you not just get certified, but truly thrive. And before you go, if you're wondering which workshop or program fits you best, I'd love to chat one-on-one. Simply scan the QR code on the screen to book a free 30-minute meeting with me. We'll talk through your goals and help you choose the best path forward. No pressure, just honest support. Wherever you are in your journey, remember Doula Beginnings is here as your oasis of support. If you have any questions or feel ready to take that next step, please reach out. You're not alone on this journey. Thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope to connect with you soon.